What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Pace Studio here in Midtown Manhattan, New York City. We are really thrilled to have with us today the Mark Guiliana Jazz Quartet. You guys have a new record out. It's actually coming out on Friday, a couple days from now. It's called Jersey. We're really excited to hear some songs from that record today. So why don't you take it away, and we'll talk about the music a little bit later. Thank you, guys. So let me just introduce everyone real quick. We got Mark Guiliana on drums, Chris Morrissey on bass, Fabian Almazan on piano, and Jason Rigby on saxophone. This is the Mark Guiliana Jazz Quartet. So, Mark, tell us a little bit about the first song you just did. And this is the first song, I think, off of Jersey, the new record, right?
Exactly. First off, thanks for having us. It's a big pleasure to be here. I always love playing with these guys. And the song was called Inter R. It's the first song off the record. And not much to say. I mean, this is the first of a collection of songs that we've been honing over the last year or two on the road, and really trying to find the identity for this music amongst us. Yeah,
cool. Let me ask you a bit about the record. I know, on some of your previous albums as a leader, you have made sort of amazing use of electronic-inspired beats, different textures, sort of outside the conventional acoustic jazz setup. For your two records now, this is your second record with the quartet, you have sort of come back to a more, traditional acoustic quartet setup. What was it that led you back into this format?
Well, I love electronic music, but I found electronic music after developing a relationship with the drums and music in general in a more acoustic setting. And the idea for this band came from the itch to try to make a personal statement in that environment. And although it's a pretty traditional setup orchestrationally, our goal is to just, really create our own identity inside of this sound. And, it's a part tribute to, in one part, it's a big tribute and trying to honor, the musicians that we really admire that really called this their home. But we are just trying to be ourselves and see where it can go.
Yeah, cool. I know I ask this of a lot of musicians. I know that there are some artists who feel as though putting certain parameters on the project that they're doing at any one point, it doesn't limit them. It almost has the opposite effect, where you can sort of explore inside of maybe a narrower lane than you might ordinarily be in. Is that something that you feel as an artist?
Precisely, yeah. I think, this is a very rare occasion where Fabian isn't playing acoustic piano, simply because we couldn't fit one inside. But the limitations on the setup are very deliberate, and Chris and I played together in many different situations, a lot of which is in a more electronic setting. So we built our relationship through electric bass and more of a very different sounding drums. And although maybe a couple tunes might want to lean towards electric or something, we've both tried to not go there and just let it be this. Or even with saxophone, even the idea of maybe including soprano, for me it was important to limit it to the tenor saxophone. And again with piano, we've been tempted to maybe put Rhodes on a tune or something like that. But I think I would hope that it encourages all of us to explore all the different options we have within this setup. And I speaking for myself, I feel very free. And really, when we started the band, I didn't have much expectations other than just wanting to play in this environment. But ever since we did, it's been a really big source of joy. And it's I kind of feel like I'm reuniting with this version of the drum set is the one that I spent the most time with.
Yeah.
When I was in college and practicing a lot. So it really feels good to come back here and to, try to create one sound with these guys.
Yeah, cool. So all the songs that we're hearing today are from Jersey, which is a new record. Tell us a little bit about the next one you're going to do for us.
The next one is called Jersey, and it's just
your home state. Yeah,
my home state, yes, and yours too.
And mine too. That's right.
New Jersey's a great place, and I've always lived there, and
I made it about 40 miles out.
Okay,
this is as far as I've gotten.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Risk taker.
Yeah, that's right. I know. My family's like, well, where is he? What is he doing?
I think it was Chris's idea to initially maybe call the record Jersey, right? And there's kind of this other hidden meaning in there. Chris and I are both big sports fans, particularly basketball fans, and that idea of you put a jersey on when you're about to play, and you wear the same jersey as your teammates, and there's this sense of unity, you know. So there's a little bit of a double
Do you
meaning.
have a jersey that says Jersey?
I do. I have one that says New Jersey. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, this song is it's the next song on the record. So these 3 songs we're gonna play are the first 3 on the album, and yeah, it's a bit of a tribute to Jersey, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
Cool. Thank you, guys. So I'm curious about how you guys conceive and execute this music in terms of the recording and the performing. When you are writing it, I think, Mark, so you wrote at least, 5 or 6 of the songs, I think, on the record?
About half.
About half. And I think, Chris, you wrote a couple as well. Is that right? And so how does it work? You guys bring in tunes and everyone sort of fills in parts, or is it a little bit more prescribed than that? How do you guys come up with the final product?
Yeah, I think it's case by case. For me, and I want Chris to speak on this too. For me, one of the best things about having a band and being a band is that it's not that it's saxophone, piano, bass, and drums. It's Jason, Fabian, Chris. So I absolutely have these guys in mind when I'm writing. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm doing my best to try to exploit your greatness as best I can.
It's exploitative music.
Yeah, exactly. I do my best to leave room inside the music for these guys' personality. So at times there are quite specific. I have quite specific requests, but I think we're always trying to strike a balance of freedom and discipline and see where the music can go from there. Yeah. But Chris brought in 2 great songs, Our Lady and The Mayor of Rotterdam. We'll play Our Lady next, but if you want to speak on that a bit.
I have a mic over.
You got one?
Yeah. With this band, the tunes that I brought in, I had fairly fleshed out musical ideas, or like the composition was fleshed out. But the way that Mark runs our band is that it tends to have a lot of openness, as he was just sort of referring to, for interpretation of stuff, and also just arrangement ideas, and that is one of the things I love about this band and how Mark operates, is that it's always with this, let's see if we can discover something beyond what we sort of thought that the song could be.
Right.
And when that spirit is sort of infused into a group of guys that doesn't change, and then that's sort of then you run around the world with the same group of guys having this experience and really living in this music. It's an exciting prospect as a composer to bring stuff in, knowing that it's the kind of outfit where it's going to evolve into something way more than I imagined that it could.
Yeah,
and
cool.
It's all about letting go and letting that happen, because there are certainly impulses to try to adhere to the version of it that was a dream in your head, but inevitably, and I would say the vast majority of the time, when there's freedom within that context, you discover that there's a more exciting thing that you hadn't considered, and that's something that is kind of, that I think Mark sort of makes clear that's, and that's not to say that, like he said, also he has very specific ideas sometimes and presents them clearly, and then it's a high level of communication in that way too.
Yeah, cool.
The way I think of it is no decision I could ever make for the saxophone would be better than a choice Jason would make, or nothing I would imagine to happen on the bass would be, and Fabian. So it's it's with great humility that I present this music to these guys, because they're masters, and all these guys are composers and band leaders, and I don't take it for granted that they're, we're all making a bit of a sacrifice to spend this time together. Hopefully it doesn't feel like a sacrifice, but you guys have a lot of your own music for the world to hear as well. So I'm grateful, to share this music. And I mean, even the songs that I bring in, I do feel like they rely heavily on the democratic environment to come to life.
Cool. And so normally you guys are playing on a traditional, like a grand piano, yeah?
Yes.
It's sort of amazing, because it sounds so natural and great with the electric. Like you would never think that this was not your typical setup.
Well, Fabian,
you're outside of your parameters now, so it's stretching.
Fabian is both natural and great. Yes, to use your words.
So you're gonna do one more for us from Jersey. As you mentioned, it's the third song on the record. Our Lady, I believe.
Exactly.
If
This is
memory
Chris's
serves.
song, Our Lady. Yep.
Anything to know about that, or just jump into it?
I think we just play it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Chris's songs usually do the talking, you know.
Talking bass.
In case we don't speak after this song, thank you again. Thanks to everybody here for having us. It's not every day that you get to play in the same room as the John Coltrane reels from Newport in 1966.
That's right. You will sit there next to John Coltrane when we're done here, and
Great.
we file it away.
That would be great. That would be great. But thank you again, really. Thanks.
Guys, thank you so much. That sounded amazing. That was 3. This is the Mark Guiliana Jazz Quartet. It's Mark Guiliana on drums, Chris Morrissey on bass, Fabian Almazan on piano or Korg, and Jason Rigby on saxophone. Guys, your new album is called Jersey. It's out on Friday. Everyone should definitely go pick that up because that was amazing. And so you guys are heading out on tour, I think starting out on the West Coast early October, if I believe, maybe next week.
Exactly. There's a couple weeks in the U.S. in October, a couple weeks in Europe in November, and then we'll swing back to the East Coast towards the end of November and into December. So, yeah, we're really excited to just get out there and play.
Great. And those dates are all available. You can get them on markguiliana.com. So once again, the album is called Jersey, and it is really an incredible record. So, guys, thank you so much for coming and playing for us here at Pace today. It was a really great performance.
Thank you so much.
Guys, come back anytime.
Thank you.